Welcome to the White Wall Sessions Radio. I'm your host, Dan Schaefer. On this week's episode, we feature King Cardinal and Frogleg. If you'd like to know more about the artists on the show, visit thewhitewallsessions.com for features, links, and videos. King Cardinal is a 5-piece Americana band based out of Denver, Colorado. The band is Brendan Mackey on guitar, banjo, and vocals, Scott Roush on drums, Ben Walagoski on pedal steel, Andrew Porter on bass, and Texana Muckler on tambourine and vocals. King Cardinal consists of members from all across the country who met within the vibrant Denver open mic scene.
Hope like falling from the trees was open wide. What I found was much to find. And damn, the branches underneath slow my fall. Now the birds won't trail at all. Well, I'm not broken yet. Wait till you see what I have made. Well, me and my bloody fists, we will claim the rest someday. Good with what you gave to me, but you stripped me to my seeds. This world, well, it only disappears. There's something more, a life below these doors. Well, I'm not broken yet. Wait till you see what I have made. With me and my bloody fists, we will claim the rest someday. Release, release, release me. Release, release, release me. Oh, oh.
people say that, country music sucks these days, but the good country music is kind of just categorized as Americana music.
Sure.
Exactly.
It's like not categorized as country music anymore.
And if you said, okay, Americana is hot, let's go make that, kind of what you were saying earlier, let's go make a band that sounds like that.
Yeah.
You'll never make it
No.
unless you come back to
People
it.
can smell when you're not genuine with that, I think it's a dead giveaway once you're on stage.
So, Brendan, you write the songs mostly?
Yeah.
And then you bring them to the band as sort of do you bring them right away when you get an idea, or do you kind of try and finish them before you bring them?
I think generally they're finished. There have been a few that have kind of been brought in and then changed,
or Brendan thinks they're finished, and then somebody else has a better idea.
Like the song
You never
Chicago, perhaps?
Yeah. That
Although, was it your idea to change that up from the beginning?
Well, it was kind of the original version, and you could find the original version on Spotify. The original version was very straightforward, like acoustic guitar song, folk song. And then we'd just been playing it for so long, it just wasn't interesting to us anymore. So we just I played a riff on the banjo, and then Scott played this really cool drum beat, and then it just kind of ran off.
I think Scott's drum beat makes the contagious aspect of that song. You hear it drop and you're like, all right, I'm ready for this. I can be here for that. And it's a very unique sound and kind of just drives you straight through.
I do remember originally Brennan had presented it to us, and he said, I was thinking maybe I could just play this one on banjo and Tex could sing it, and it would be just kind of a more intimate song. And I was like, wait, no, let me try this beat out. And then I played the beat, and everyone was like, oh, yeah, that's what we want. That's actually what we want to happen now.
Scott and I started discussing polyrhythms and stuff and getting.
I think it was in 4 originally too. It's in 3 now. So
that one, whenever we end up in Denver, that one is the one that, if we have people that come to more than one show, they're definitely singing the words with us, and it's a party song for sure. Everybody gets into that one.
Yeah, it has a Graceland feel. I think if you're going back to influences, Scott used to play for where's Nati Man from?
Oh, Ethiopia.
Played with this famous Ethiopian singer.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah,
a couple of them. Played with a guy named Johnny Raga and another guy named Natty Man, and they're kind of like the like the Kanye West of Ethiopia right now. It's like they're the pop stars, or the kind of like what's hip for younger kids. So I got to learn a lot about the rhythms that are in Ethiopian music.
Well, all over Africa, rhythm is just incredible. I mean, you think, what can you do with a drum?
And you went to that festival in... Where was that? Tanzania?
Yeah.
Got a little bit more of that. You're just all over the place, not on our continent.
Yeah.
So, Brendan, when you write a song, is it kind of hard to give it away, or do you say, oh, I can't wait till the band hears this one and plays it, or both?
I probably could hold on to things longer and and make them sound better before I bring them to people. And I think maybe there have been songs that have not come to life because all the way there before I showed them to the guys, and if I don't get any response, I just kind of move on.
Well, I'm taking my song.
Yeah. Well, I'm like, all right, I'll work on something new. But usually it's slowed down a bit since we've been putting this record together. But yeah, I try to write as much as possible and have as much material to show to everybody, and I usually just send it to Ben.
I think it's fun to be a fan of everyone in this band. As a vocalist, I'm just in awe of Ben. I'm in awe of Brennan's songwriting talents, and Andrew and Scott. It's super fun to be on stage and be like, man, you guys are ripping it up. This is awesome. It's fun and comfortable, and I'm actually a fan. It's good to get on stage and be like, I'm down for this.
So have you sang on big church stages?
Yeah. I was with this performance group at my church. We sang with Kirk Franklin, and we ended up at one of these huge evangelical conferences in New York City, and I was actually also in a stomp group. We used aluminum chairs and brooms and shit. I don't know if I can say shit on the radio. Sorry. But I've been a couple big places with the church music scene, but kind of glad I'm here now.
So is it what's better, playing with 1,000 people with their hands up like this, or 50 people with lighters in the air.
Honestly, I will say, even after stepping away from the church, there is something to say about just, having a super hard day and coming to this like praise and worship room and just being able to kind of like release it, And so whatever that means for you or whatever God looks like for you these days, not very much for me. But I just think that like the idea of what that represents is still a beautiful idea to me, and nothing I would ever put down. Just something that's not really resonating with me at the moment, but spirituality and everything that goes into just kind of helping you get through the tough times is really just a beautiful concept, and I truly support it in any religion.
The emotion and the music, when
Absolutely.
you combine those together.
Yeah.
So let's talk about your album. You've got one coming up on September. Well, we actually got a sneak peek.
Oh, yeah.
And we got to hear a lot of songs tonight. Where did you record that? It was in Texas, right?
Yeah, it was in Tornillo, Texas, which is just outside of El Paso, right on the border. It's a studio called Sonic Ranch. It's on a pecan farm that like just is right up against the border. And they've had some really cool, it's pretty historical. I don't know. Remember?
Yeah, I mean, it's been there for a long time. Everybody from Third Eye Blind to Whitey Morgan did a record recently that's titled that. The old 97s were there years ago. It's a huge destination for a lot of Latin bands.
Yeah. That's the singer.
Yeah, it's this great spot. It's kind of this complex almost sort of thing because it's an old pecan plantation. It's still functioning. It's one of the biggest pecan
It's a
plantations.
hacienda, yeah.
Yeah, right.
Where you stay there and record.
Yep. They put you up. They have amazing staff that cooks for you all your meals. There's, I think, 6 studios, control rooms, all with just beautiful equipment everywhere, and it's constantly booked. I mean, every time you go there, you're there with, I think there was 3 or 4 other bands there while we were doing our record in the studio that we had booked, but it kind of just becomes this little like musician commune, and everybody shares meals together, and then you go to the studio and you do some tracks, and then you go and have another meal, and you hang out late night and play ping pong or whatever it is,
And then you eat enchiladas and try to track vocals at 12:30 and
Yeah.
you're falling asleep on your microphone.
Yeah, but really the way we kind of got down there, we worked with a producer and engineer by the name of Ted Young on this record. He's a Brooklyn guy, and he's got just a killer resume. We kind of got turned on to him because there's a Austin, Texas-based singer-songwriter named Israel Nash who's starting to really get a lot of attention, but we've been listening to him for a couple of years, and we just loved the records, and we looked at the back of the records, and this guy Ted Young had done all the engineering and producing on that stuff, and so we got a hold of him, and he's worked with Izzy, but he's also done everything from the Allman Brothers to Sonic Youth to Andrew WK.
He was with
Kurt Vile, yeah.
He was with Andrew WK at Sonic Ranch, so that's kind of how he was like, we should go to the
Yeah,
spot.
it was
So
his
kinda
idea to
how
go
we
down
heard
there
about
because he loved the studio. He was like, you guys will be a perfect fit for this. And,
He wanted to go down there so bad.
Yeah, he just wanted to go use the sleep console.
He seriously was like,
but-
I'll give you a break on my day rate if we can go to Sonic Ranch. You're like, sick.
So that's kind of how we ended up there, but it became just this awesome experience because when you're at a place like that, we considered doing it in Denver. Tex's husband has a studio there, and we'd considered doing that. We'd considered hiring out, another studio to do it in, but we kind of, when it all came down, we thought there'd be too many distractions doing that because, you're home and, it's only like 15 minutes to go to my house to grab lunch or something, and then that turns into an hour that you're not at the studio or like whatever that ends up being. And what was great about Sonic Ranch is when you're there, you're there. I mean, it literally is the border of it. It used to function as the gate between Texas and Mexico. Yeah, so it is the border, and you're kind of in the middle of nowhere, and you live there, you eat there. It's a 24-hour access to the studio, so you're kind of just in the zone, And I think a lot of bands talk about being in that zone and finding a place where you can create like that or write like that without distractions, and that really I think was a boon to us as far as creating the record because we just ate, slept, and breathed the record while we were there for about a week. We did it in about a week, and it was a killer experience. We really loved it.
Well, speaking of killer experience, this has been a great night. How did you all come across the White Wall Sessions in Sioux Falls? Is this your first time, the whole band in Sioux Falls?
Well, not for me, just because I'm the local kid here. I think other than driving through, I don't think anybody else has really been around here.
We haven't played in Sioux Falls. Me and Tex did a house show. We did a house show tour in June, and we played in Brookings.
Oh, okay.
Then, but we haven't been into Sioux Falls yet.
But really, and he's sitting over here. The credit just kind of turning us onto this is our good friend Jay Fishback. He's a guy that I went to high school with up in Brookings. He's a videographer, does a lot of creative pursuits with that type of thing, and he knows Zoogs. And when we booked a show up in Brookings, which we played last night at the Pheasant, which was awesome. Pheasant, you guys rock. But we had Wednesday off. We were maybe going to play up in Minneapolis, and that didn't happen. And there was a couple other options that we were thinking about, but we just nothing ever really came through. So it was going to be an off day. We were like, maybe we'll go to the lake or something, you know.
Which today would be a terrible day to go to the
with
lake.
the rain, that'd be no good. But you know, it kind of just came together. I think Jay was talking with him, or somehow Zoogs had heard our music, and literally in a matter of minutes, I got a call back from Jay, and he was like, "Hey, are you guys available on Wednesday? Because they want to do this session, you know." And so then I hadn't actually heard of it yet, and so I went online and watched, I think, the Dead Man Winter one and a couple other ones that are on the YouTube channel, and it was just, you know, it's out of sight. Like, the production's awesome, and the space is awesome. So it kind of just worked out. You know, it almost fell into our lap in some fashion, but sometimes the stars align like that, and we're really happy it did. This was an awesome experience.
I will say, to your credit, we were in Brookings earlier, and I, very characteristic of myself, smashed my phone to smithereens and had to go to the AT&T store. I was talking to the woman, and she asked what I was doing. I'm on tour. I'm not from Brookings. And telling her what we were up to today. And I was like, it's this thing called White Wall Sessions. And she was like, whoa! Like, so excited about it. All the ladies in there knew about it. So y'all are obviously doing something good out here.
Yeah, great. Well, one thing we did good, thanks, Jay. We had King Cardinal on tonight. This was fantastic. Thank you very much, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
Pick up from the bottom, bring it home to you. The rain's down, leaves me face down, till I let it run on through. Better. No, I wanna be clean. Oh, I wanna be better. Lord, just for me. Seems like fun in the daytime, at night it's just a shame. You can find me holed up, back with only a bottle to my name. Hey, Michael, we've been through this. Won't listen to you no more. Cause lately I've been thinking these prayers won't do a thing. Oh, I wanna be better. Oh, I wanna be clean. Oh, I wanna be better. Oh, just for me. Take waking up a bathroom floor. opening and closing these doors, but it takes away my worries and my money too. Leaves me dressed down and blue.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you so much, everybody.
Frogleg is a six-piece funk jam band based out of Minneapolis, Minnesota. The band is Joe Dunn on vocals and guitar, Dimitri Rollis on vocals and guitar, Elliot Walks on saxophone, Jimmy Geisinger on bass, Doug Christensen on percussion, and CJ Vanderpool on drums. Frogleg played an explosive set, which included songs mostly from their latest release, 2017's Busy Checking In.
On my stoop today, I could feel the drop in degrees. I read in the Tribune sometime in the middle of the night that you were set to freeze. And I heard you bit better, and I knew that the man was only just a tease. You disappeared over the stage, getting further with the breeze. Last thunder, last rain, the winter's on the move, my ball and chain until early April. Gonna run its campaign against the first thunder, first rain, first thunder, first
does that come from feel, or does that come from structure?
we could have done do-overs. I didn't I didn't know that was an option.
Well, isn't that?
Yeah, no, tonight was an example of, it wasn't, we didn't have a set list tonight, so we just wrote out all our originals because, it's kind of a studio vibe. And it was really fun. And it worked out really well. But what was the question? Oh,
Everyone seemed to know where they were at throughout the whole song. So it was, it's like,
oh yeah, we know all these songs pretty well, especially after our last tour. And yeah, they're pretty in our bones at this point.
Well, let's talk about the studio. You've got an album releasing. It actually released. Now
It
you can
has been
say
released
no longer on our upcoming album, but on our
as
second
of August
album.
19th. Yeah, yeah, our second.
I like that.
And so, where did you record that?
We recorded it at the Pearl Studio in Minneapolis, Minnesota, with our friends Rob Genetic and Jim Anton. They were our producers and engineers for the disc, and they were it was a delight. It was kind of just like, how do you zero in on something that's been so, like we were playing in bunkers, we were playing in bars for years, and like, how do you zero in on something? How do you zero in on something but also capture the moment of what happened in all those weeks and all those months and all those years of doing that? And I feel like they did a very, very good job of capturing the live energy, what we were working on outside of the studio, and we didn't even think about working on it because it was just, we were playing in bunkers every week, and it was a beautiful thing, but then we get in the studio, and they narrow it down, and, I didn't really listen to it a whole lot. Each edit would come out, but then at the end of the day, then when we sent it in for the final thing, when it finally came out, I sat in my car with my girlfriend and drank a little wine. We were in a driveway. I wasn't out on the street. And it was beautiful. It was beautiful. And Rob Genetic did a great job mixing and mastering the whole thing. And I love it. I hope you guys do too.
Yeah, and something that was different about this album was we had a producer who was Jimmy Anton, who plays bass with Johnny Lang and used to play bass with Greasy Meal and all kinds of people. But before we went into the studio, he came in and we played him what we had as songs, and he put his little twist on it. Like, maybe let's bring this section, let's make that quiet, and like he added some really cool parts to different songs. That was really fun working with him.
The silver sphere is rising, and I'm done hiding, got nothing to hide from no one. They spoke of crystal vagrants somewhere out there on the run. Lines of raindrops felt like silky hair, upside down smoke from a gun. It all cleared up and I was standing there, wondering if I had fun standing there under the silver sphere. Under the silver sphere. Under the silver sphere. spotlight to wake you up and breathe in the fallout. Juggling each night between what you don't know and what you figured out. Grab the flame, spark the lights to wake you up and breathe in the fallout. Juggling each night between what you don't know and what you figured out. The silver sphere is falling, exhaust calling from the highways and streets. Earlier this bustle was stalling. There you are packing your car with all of your spreadsheets. You'll run into next to no one. You'll take your time and you'll collect all your receipts. You'll take a look at the descending sun and disappear into the night. Disappear under the silver sphere. Under the silver sphere. Under the silver sphere. Under the silver sphere. Thank you.
If you'd like to know more about the artists we feature, visit thewhitewallsessions.com. The White Wall Sessions Radio is recorded and produced at Last Stop Studios in Sioux Falls, South Dakota. Last Stop Studios is located in the lower level of the Last Stop CD Shop at 2121 East 10th Street in Sioux Falls, South Dakota. Executive producers are Jeff Zuger and Doug Taylor. Head of Broadcast Engineering is Dave Palmer. Audio technicians are Chad Conrad, Carl Koiser, and Dave Palmer. Audio mixing is Chad Conrad. Associate producer is Michael Yeager. Scheduling and sales is Tom Eisner. I'm your host, Dan Schaefer. Join us again next week for another edition of the White Wall Sessions Radio.